So she has a daughter who's evangelical who goes to occasionally mass with her, and she wants to go to communion, and you know. So well, why can't they go to communion? Um, Let me answer it this way. So it's a long answer. So uh, because it's as an evangelical, their theology, if you look at it, has no communio. It's about me and Jesus. So even if she did believe that the Eucharist is a real presence, we would say that's not enough. That if you notice in the Bible, every time you eat at the table, every time you eat a meal with God, it demands a moral response. So you eat the Passover meal, you're obligated to the Ten Commandments. That's what the Passover, you're obligated to free other people. Every meal has this promise, vow that you're making to God. So if you share in communion, then you're making this vow to God. And the vow is not just what Christ taught. Well, just and part of what Christ taught is you're also making this commitment to a community. So if you notice in like the Gospel of Luke, the best gospel in the world, um, the Gospel of Luke, this is my joke. You'll get tired of it, but honest to God, it is a great gospel. We're going to cover it. But Jesus in the Gospel of Luke, he loves to gather and eat with people. He loves the table and wine and stories. And so my joke is he's Italian. Jesus is Italian. Um, and Jesus is promiscuous on who he invites to the table. So the Gospel of Luke, just to let you know, is 10 meals with Christ. That's all it is 10 meals. It replaces the 10 commandments. It's very cleverly written. It's 10 meals. And in the first 7 meals, Jesus welcomes everybody, even when people get upset. But um, the last 3 meals, they're exclusive. Why is that? It's not that Jesus is promoting exclusivity, but with each meal, the price tag goes up. And starting on meal 8, you're promising to your life to die for a community. So it's not about her going to community. It's not about her loving Jesus. It's about her making a vow to a community, which she wouldn't. Or can I just tell another story? So for 3 months, I was a priest in Sun Valley, which really was a nice gig. Um, but not a lot of work to do. Um, so there wasn't a lot of work to do. So to be honest, in the afternoon, I'd walk down to what was Tully's coffee shop because that's where everybody was. You know, if you want to meet people, you have to get out. I'm an over the chart introvert. I'm happy being by myself, but my job as a priest is to bring people in. So I'd go to Tully's in the afternoon just to meet people. And I'm walking down the street and I see one of our parishioners, really nice guy, and he's talking to this woman. So I just stop and he introduced me. He says, "Oh, this is the new Catholic priest in Sun Valley." And this woman just goes ape. Like seriously, suddenly everything turned when she found out I was a priest, and she starts yelling at me in the street. Um, and like, I'm kind of used to that because living with my sisters. Um, so no, I'm kind of immune to that. But so she's yelling at me, and so she's yelling, and she says, "You Catholics think that you're better than everybody else." Blah 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 blah. And then I said, "Why are you so angry?" And she says, "Because I went to a wedding in California, and the couple got married, and then when it came time to communion, the priest said, 'Well, if you're not Catholic, please come up and do this symbol, and it's a prayer that one day we will have communion with each other, and I'll give you a blessing.'" And she says, "How dare that you Catholics think that you're better than I am?" So when she stopped yelling, I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. When you went to that wedding and that woman stood up there and made vows to that guy, did you do the same thing that you're doing to me? Did you stand up and start yelling, 'I'm just as good as she is'?" No, you didn't, because you were there to witness their vows to each other. And going to communion is also this public vow. Read the Bible. You eat at the table of God, you're making a vow to God. That's how you make a vow to God. It's not your words, it's actually eating. So I said, Catholics are making this vow to each other, not just to Christ, but we're making a vow to be something to each other. You didn't even know that. So it wasn't about you not being good enough. None of us are good enough. We're not saying that we're better. We're just saying we're making a vow. Just the same way that bride standing up in front with that guy is not saying that she's better than you. It's just a vow. Does that make any sense? So, like, but if she doesn't understand, no, no, it's not about just you believing in God. It's about you making a commitment to a community. And actually, that commitment is not just to this community, it's also to the poor and the outcast. And you're making this promise. And if you want to know what the promise is, you take all 10 meals in the Gospel of Luke and add them up, and that's what we mean. So, like, that's why the last three are exclusive, is because you're promising your life. You're promising to be something for this community, which would be a lie. She's not. Does that make sense? That doesn't undercut communio. That actually heightens what communio demands. But good question.